Council meeting, and you will get an opportunity to see your government at work. We've been at work most of the day. We started about noon. We went over several committees, resource, community, health, education, and we debated and discussed, and every now and then we get mad at each other and disagree, but when we walk out, it seems like we leave it behind and we'll go out and fellowship again because we're all fellow Cherokees. And that's what this is all about. So with that, OCO and God, then call this meeting to order at this time. Councilor Crittenden, you want to bless the meeting?
Father, I just want to come to you today and thank you for all the blessings that you bestow upon us, Father, today, just the breath that we breathe. Go with us as we continue doing the work of the Cherokee people, Father. And we'll be sure to thank you for all things good, especially your son Jesus died on the cross for us and rose again. Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Council. This time, Shelley, let's do roll call.
Yes, sir. Jill Anglin.
Honey.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Joe Byrd.
Ani?
Sean Crittenden. Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan.
Here.
Dick Lay.
Holly.
Mike Shambaugh. Mary Bakershaw. E.O. Smith. Janice Taylor. Victoria Vesquez. David Walkingstick. Brian Warner. We have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, I'd entertain approval of the minutes. They were mailed to you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion to approve and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it. We'll drop down to our State of the Nation by Principal Chief, Mr. Bill John Baker. Is that you that smells there? Is that me?
Grab me.
OCO, and welcome to the August council meeting. We finalized a partnership with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to create a conservation district on Salisaw Creek in Sequoyah County. This will set aside protected habitat for the American burying beetle, an endangered species, and Cherokee Nation is the first tribal government to designate land to protect an endangered species. The historic collaboration will also enable our business development projects to move forward in areas where the American burying beetle has been found. Special thanks to the Secretary of Natural Resources, Sarah Hill, and her team for negotiating this unique project. In other land conservation news, Cherokee Nation purchased a little over 60 acres near the historic Oaks Mission in Delaware County. It also sits next to Godsville Acre, an early cemetery where the Cherokees first settled, and was an ending point for the Trail of Tears, and will ensure that the land is preserved and protected, including Spring Creek that starts on that in that very area. We're dedicated a new road in Veneta. It will better connect the cluster of new homes we built there with the local schools, and it's a good investment for the community's safety. Cherokee Nation continues our financial support of 6 area domestic abuse violence shelters by issuing checks totaling $90,000. Like our own One Fire Service Center, the mission of these shelters is to help survivors any way possible to break the cycle of domestic violence in northeastern Oklahoma. Finally, we want to make sure everybody is making plans to attend the Cherokee National Holiday over Labor Day weekend. 2018 looks like it may be the biggest and best annual homecoming celebration ever. Today I'm truly honored and to be able to introduce tonight a group of award-winning athletes and Cherokee Nation citizens, the Fighting Peacocks of Delaware County, a team representing Oklahoma and the Cherokee Nation at the 2018 USA Special Olympics and brought home the gold medal in one of the events. We are proud to recognize them tonight for their achievement, and if the Fighting Peacocks would please stand up. Any of you want to say anything? Coach? Anybody?
Thank you for this.
Well, we appreciate the hard work, the effort, and bringing back the gold. We like gold.
Can we take a brief break and have you guys stand here?
Yeah, come on up. Let's get up.
For sure.
Another
Council
picture.
members, Shambaugh, Buzzard. Anybody else wants to be in the background? These are Delaware County, right? Shoot, they're hard to beat.
Everyone, shake everybody's hand. They're all of our hands. They'll be honored to be able to shake your hand.
Congratulations. Good job.
She's the ball.
Good job, Coach. Good job. Thank you. Good job, Good job. Congratulations. Way to go. Good job.
Dude, congrats.
All right, now you got to act like you like each other. Let's tighten it up.
Sucked in as far as it's getting sucked in.
All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Well, they make us proud, Chief.
Go Peacocks.
That's right.
All right, we're to the part of my State of the Nation where we recognize some of those Cherokees that were with us last month that are no longer with us this month. Supreme Court Justice Angie Jones, Tahlequah, Patsy Barnett of Locust Grove, Harold Bottoms of Stillwell, Jonathan Buchanan of Tahlequah, Donald Chukalate of Dewey, Mary Jo Cole of Tahlequah, a retired Cherokee Nation Education Department employee of many years, Winona Cochran of Tahlequah, David Comerford of Claremore, Arthur Owings of Chelsea, Kitty Folsom of Stillwell, Clara Harden of Sallisaw, Kenneth Hood of Veneta, Jimmy Johnson of Westville, Don Lockwood of Sallisaw, Norma Marble of Grove, Jody Riley of Pryor, Edna Rushing of Sallisaw, Mildred Shackelford of Sallisaw, Phyllis Springwater of Pryor, Carlene Wenzel of Fort Gibson, Carson Wilson of Pryor, and Dr. Margaret Nelson
Man.
Does council have any others?
Yes, I do. Juanita Juby Donaldson, 92 of Sperry.
Sandra Pettit, Lucy Eagle, and Doris Kester of Stillwell.
Did you say Bobby Mayfield?
I did not.
Okay.
Of Holbert.
My cousin Sue Mitchell Umazawa, Tulsa.
Mary Kilpatrick, Lenapaw.
Jim Chukalate from Salisaw, Henry Jr. Coleman, also known as Big Henry from Nycut, and then Ruby Bailey from Roland.
If we could have a moment of silence to remember all of these and their families. What else?
Okay, now for the Cherokee Warrior Veterans Awards, Deputy Chief S. Joe Crittenden. Chief, is that all? Say the nation?
That's it.
Okay. How many veterans we have here tonight?
Mr. Speaker, we got 4 veterans tonight.
Oh,
I think last month we had 1,
Yeah.
I think, and so I'll get a little extra time tonight. Is that all right?
that's okay.
Okay. I need you, Mr. Speaker, and someone mentioned that Mike Shambaugh might want to help with this also. Mike?
Right on the line.
Harold P. Bruner. Mr. Bruner, would you come down, sir? Mr. Bruner entered the Navy in 1960 at the age of 18 and was sent to San Diego, California and Bremerton, Washington. He was on a ship with 4,500 total crew members, a big ship, and it was an aircraft carrier USS Bonhomme Richard, aircraft carrier attack ship. He was deployed in 61 to the Philippine Islands, where his ship was on standby ready for enemy fire in the South China Sea. The crew worked tirelessly loading aircraft with explosives and giving the troops ground cover when called on. While on the Philippine Islands, Mr. Bronner was chosen Man of the Month, which was an accomplishment to his sea time in the Navy. When Mr. Bruner returned stateside, he was honorably discharged in 1964 and transferred into the Naval Reserve until his release in '66. His decorations and medals, the Good Conduct Medal, First Award for the period ending in 1963. And Mr. Bruner, on behalf of a grateful nation, I want to thank you for your service, sir.
Ouch.
Thanks for your service, sir.
Let's turn it up so they can see it. Turn it out further. All right, now let's take a picture.
All right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
And would you like your bride to come down?
Yes.
All right, girl.
Hey, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
We always honor and revere our warriors since the beginning of time. But we were talking about coming back, and maybe we didn't have the most warm welcome in '64. But welcome home. Thank you for your service. Would you like to say anything?
That's a great honor to receive this award and represent the Cherokee Nation. I'd say if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it 12 times over, because, you know, it was rough times back in the 60s. And rough times now because we have so many kids that don't respect their parents, that don't respect their teachers, and the drug is taking over this great nation. We need to do something about it. Thank you all.
Councilman Keith Austin, would you come and help with this presentation, sir? And also Victoria, would you come and help? I was told that you should. Our next veteran this evening is Larry D. Chandler. Larry, would you come forward, sir? Mr. Chandler was 18 years old when he enlisted in the Army in 1967. He went to Fort Polk, Louisiana for his basic training and his AIT for 8 weeks. As an audio communications specialist, shortly after he was transferred to Rashad, Germany for 3 months. For the remainder of Mr. Chandler's service, he was at Army Garrison Installations Missile Base in Bromholder, Germany for 11 months, and he returned stateside to be honorably discharged in '69. Decorations and medals: the National Defense Service Medal, Rifle Marksmanship Badge. Mr. Chandler, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you, sir, for your service to this country.
Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Do you have any family you'd like to come down? Okay. Okay. Once again, we thank you for your service and appreciate so much, and it's our true honor to honor you today. And would you like to say anything?
Well, it's been a great honor to be here and get this, medical and film. And,
Deputy, you're on a roll. Keep going.
On a roll, that's it. Next, I need the at-large council members, please. Mary Baker Shaw and Wanda Hatfield. And our third veteran is James F. Hale. Mr. Hale, would you come forward, sir? Mr. James Hale was inducted into the Army in June of '69. He was during the Vietnam War and was sent to Fort Polk, Louisiana and Fort Benning, Georgia for training. He was deployed to the replacement detachment at Long Binh, South Vietnam. After arriving in South Vietnam, he was assigned to Company A7th Support Battalion, 199th Infantry Brigade. While with the detachment in Long Binh in 199 Battalion returned to the States, and then Mr. Hale was transferred to the Adjutant General's Office of the 1st Cavalry Division in Bien Hoa, Vietnam. At the conclusion of Mr. Hale's tour in Vietnam, he returned stateside where he was honorably discharged in January 1971. Decorations and medals awarded: the National Defense Service Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, Vietnam Campaign Medal, Army Commendation Medal, Good Conduct Medal, and the Bronze Star Medal. And sir, on behalf of a grateful nation, I want to thank you for your service to this country.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
And would you like your family to come?
yes, please.
Family. Brian. Oh, I'm so
We'll be booking.
Yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
And thank you for your service, and would you like to say anything, sir?
Just thank you, I appreciate everything, and y'all do, appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
You got it.
Thank you. Councilman Dobbins, would you come forward and help with this one, sir? Our last veteran this evening is Lansford Stanley Martin. Sir, would you come forward? Mr. Martin enlisted in the Navy in 1951. His first duty station took him to Guam, the Marianas Islands, Micronesia, in the Western Pacific. Mr. Martin spent a total of 19 months in Guam and northern Saipan, Marianas Islands. Seaman Martin was transferred back stateside, arriving in San Francisco, California, and was assigned to the USS Andromeda, KA-15, which took the ship's crew to different Pacific islands. Mr. Martin was a seaman first class, a radio operator when honorably discharged in 1955. Mr. Martin and I was sharing stories about Guam. He spent 19 months there, and I spent 18 months there. He was a little earlier than me, and he recited a little poem or a story. We won't do it again, but it was quite interesting. And thanks for making the way there for me. Okay. His decorations and medals: the United Nations Service Medal, the China Service Medal, Korean Service Medal, Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Service Medal. Mr. Martin, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you, sir, for your service to this country.
Thank you, sir.
What happens in Guam Station?
Put it out here.
No.
The worst things about Guam. But it was some place to stay, wasn't it?
Deputy, go ahead and recite that for me.
Let's turn this around and take a good picture.
Okay, sir.
How's that? I'm gonna put that in your pocket.
And my lady is up there.
Okay.
All right, right here, real quick.
We've been married 50-something years.
1, 2, 3. One.
It's gonna work.
Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. All right. Bring
Okay,
her
now we
down.
need his daughter.
You said 50-something years?
We've been married a few years.
Yeah.
56. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There you go.
Well, we thank you for your service,
Thank you, Chief.
and would he like to say anything?
About being a Cherokee and it's a nice award today.
Yes, it's all nice. And I just live a little ways from the place in Muskogee. I'd be there. I've seen the chief a number of times when we have different little feed-ins and all. I'm proud to be a Cherokee, and I'm proud to be an Okie from Muskogee.
We always have Deb pin the medals on because he's not giving anybody a Purple Heart, and he served in the Navy as well. And we just think one veteran honoring the other is probably the absolute best way to do it.
We've talked a little bit.
Write down that story for me.
About one?
Yeah, about one.
Here's a bag, please.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Chief.
That concludes.
Mr. Speaker, that's all I have.
All right, Deputy, I thought you was going to throw him under the bus there for a while. Okay. Favorite part of the program right there, Deputy, honoring the veterans. Speaking of veterans. All right. Unfinished business, none pending, committee reports, Cherokee Nation business. We got Mr. Chuck Garrett here tonight.
Good evening, Speaker, councilors. Always good to be with you, representing the over 6,900 hardworking men and women at Cherokee Nation businesses. The detail of C&B's May financial performance was summarized in the Executive and Finance Committee report, which was previously provided to you. But in addition to those figures, the monthly dividend distributed to the nation, C&B's non-dividend financial contributions to the nation include retail sales taxes of almost $330,000 and liquor excise taxes of roughly $20,000 for a total non-dividend financial contribution of $349,744. Regarding our jobs, C&B currently has a workforce of 6,925 folks. We are permitted to apply a Cherokee and Native American preference on 4,482 of those positions. 73.3% of these C&B employees are Cherokee citizens, and an additional 6.8% of these C&B employees are citizens of other tribal nations, giving us a total of 80.1% Native employees. I'd like also to share that the construction projects at the Hard Rock Hotel Casino in Tulsa, as well as the Cherokee Casino here in Tahlequah, are progressing on schedule. Electronic invitations were sent out today for the topping out ceremony at the Hard Rock on September 5th at 1 o'clock. We hope that you will be able to join us. We'll also be looking for dates for a similar celebration here in Tahlequah. Cherokee Nation's award-winning cultural tourism team is accepting grant applications for its education tours during the fall semester. These sponsored tours provide students an exclusive look at Cherokee Nation's rich history and culture. Grants are designated for grades 3 through 6 at elementary public schools within the nation's 14-county jurisdiction. They are awarded in the fall and spring on a first-come, first-served basis. Applications are accepted through September 23rd and are available at www.visitcherokeenation.com. Lastly, the Saltworks of Sequoia exhibit is now open at Sequoia's Cabin Museum and will run through January 31st, 2019. And Mr. Speaker, that concludes my report this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions that you or others may have.
Any questions from council? To my right here. Anybody to the left? Would you give us a brief update on our development here in Tahlequah?
Sure. We, as I mentioned, we'll have a topping out ceremony probably in the next 6 or so weeks for the casino. It's progressing nicely. We're targeting, we believe that April will be sort of the completion date. Could slide a day or a couple weeks here or there. But in the meantime, you'll be seeing and may have already seen some of the landscaping that is coming together to buffer the highway from the development. The grand entrance will be starting to come together with some landscaping as well. The multi-tenant retail center, which is sort of one layer in, if you will, behind Buffalo Wild Wings and Taco Bueno. That you're probably seeing some dirt work right now. That's under development. We will anchor that retail center with Nuke's Dinery. They have, I think you all have seen some of their advertisements. We're using some of their testimonial for other leasing activities. They have some very fresh foods, some salads, some kind of high-end sandwiches, fancy sandwiches, and fancy little pizzas and stuff. And so I think it'll be a hit here in the market.
We're trying to get Cherokees to eat more salads.
Well, you know, if they choose. If they choose. But so that will add a nice dimension to the development. So we're excited about where we are, and you know that some good things are happening. So
how many rooms will that? Right now the casino is going up. Mm-hmm. Okay. How many machines did you say?
Right.
400 maybe?
Yeah, it's in the 400 neighborhood. One of the real exciting things about the casino, though, to distinguish it from other facilities that we have, is the convention center and the conference hall. It will be a mirror image of the Hard Rock Conference Hall, which you all have been in.
Wow.
It'll seat 1,000 people. Mm-hmm. So it really will be an economic development tool for us and drive, we think, a lot of conferences and some activities that have had to go to Tulsa and other places. So we're really excited about that as well. So
good.
Yeah, and we'll have a nice formal dining area as well as a more casual diner and grab and go food option for folks. So we're excited about the mix and think people will enjoy it.
Well, good report. We appreciate you, Chuck.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the good work.
Appreciate that, Speaker.
Thank you. Okay. Old business, none pending. New business from the executive and finance here. Councilor Hargis, would you please take that?
Yes. This is a resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation Warehouse to donate surplus office equipment to Cherry Tree Water District in Adair County, and I move for its approval.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Councilor Taylor, would you take number 2?
Sure. This is an act amending Legislative Act 25-17, authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2018, Mod 6A, and declaring an emergency. I put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Councilor, I guess, Taylor, you want to take that again?
Sure. This is an act amending Legislative Act 2617, authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2018, Mod 11A, and declaring an emergency. I put that in the form of a motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Councilor Hargis, you want to?
Speaker, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to include 2 items out of committee today as number 4 and number 5.
Okay, got a motion and a second to amend the agenda. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. This is out of resource. Councilor Jordan, you want to take that?
Yes. This is a resolution authorizing the release of escrow funds to the Choctaw, Chickasaw, and Cherokee Nations. Put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Coming out of a Community Service Committee, Councilor Lay, you want to take that?
Chief, if you don't mind, I'll hand that off to Mayor Shaw.
Okay, Councilor Shaw.
A resolution supporting the expansion of Section 184 Indian Home Loan Guarantee Program to include certain counties in the state of Arkansas and the state of Texas. I put that in the form of a motion.
Got a motion? Got a second? Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Any announcements from my right? Announcement to my left. I have one brief one. It's always good to have our C&B board directors to attend. Do we have any here tonight?
Our old faithful.
Jerry Holderby, you can count on him. He's too big for the small guards and too quick for the big forwards. Jerry Holderby. August the 20th, which is next Monday night, at our new pavilion, 6:30 to 8, there will be a cookout. 5-star chef Beaky Spears will be on hand, and we have the 4 elves, the Fitzgeralds, the fights, and it's really entertaining music. And Deputy, you and Chief are on deck. Okay, so be cookout, hot dogs, hamburgers, whatever, so everyone's invited. The focus will be on elderly, okay? But everyone's invited. Yes, Councilor Walkenstick.
It's an elder community meeting, or on August the 20th. Is that a community meeting or?
No. This is just my meeting. This is just my meeting. Okay. Okay. At the pavilion. 2 speakers sitting right there. All right. Anybody else? Hey, thank you. Thank you for attending the tribal council meeting. Guyosi, it's time to go home. I need a motion to adjourn. Motion, second.